There's about a picture perfect example of basswood right there. Bunch of trees coming up from a central point at the ground. They always grow in clusters like this. You'll find singles, but usually they're in clusters. And I figured I'd show you the flowers real quick because they're pretty distinct. They have this leafy bract. And the flower stem comes right off of it. And there's a little cluster of flowers at the end. Oh, this is something I haven't seen in a while. This is an ash tree that actually has some seeds on it. Most of our ash trees are dead because they've been killed off by invasive species. I figured I'd show you this real quick. It has seed pods on it that are similar to the maple. But the maple seed pods come in pairs, whereas the seed pods for the ash, besides being shaped differently, are always in singles. But both the maple and the ash have opposite branching. The leaves are much different than a maple. The ash has a compound leaf, whereas the maple doesn't. Dogwood. I don't know what variety of dogwood this is, but it is a dogwood. And the easiest way to tell is by the leaf. When you split the leaf, you'll see little hairs, little veins that hold on like strings as you pull the leaf apart. See how that leaf still hangs on by little threads. Some variety of dogwood. This is a very distinct plant, bloodroot. It gets white flowers, but the flowers have already passed. And now it has went to seed. If you dig this up, the root is red, and I've heard it can actually irritate your skin, so probably want to be careful with that. That's a medicinal plant. But it's one that's fairly easy to identify. Of course, we got tons of poison ivy. Leaves of 3, let it be. Greenbrier. This is the first time I've ever found this. I didn't even think it grew around here. I was starting to think it didn't grow around here. Supposedly these shoots are edible. I have never ate this plant because I've never found it before. So I can't say how good they are or anything. But it has a fairly distinct leaf. It has a smooth green stem that grows like a vine, and it has little tendrils. Well, it appears that it has 2 tendrils at each leaf node. There's 1 tendril there and another tendril there, and it has little inconspicuous thorns that are really fragile. They're not, they'll poke you, but they kind of tend to just bend. I almost wonder if somebody planted this here, because I've never seen that anywhere. Here's a bunch more. These are supposed to be perfectly edible, but because I've never found this, I'm a little rusty on the identification. I know that's what it is, and I know it's edible, the young shoots, but I don't want to mess with it until I refer back to my field guide and my identification guide and make sure that I've got what I think I got. This one has a lot more thorns, almost like a hair running down the stem towards the base there. But the thorns are soft. You can push them right over with your hand. It's a good plant to know. I hear people say this is pretty good. So I'll have to check my field guide for identification and proper harvest and preparation, if any, and come back here and try these when I got all my shit together. This used to be another great spot for hunting. There was a lot of thickets over in there, and it was just phenomenal rabbit hunting. And there's a nice section of oak woods back behind here that they cut down most of it, but it used to be excellent squirrel hunting and pheasant hunting all through here. Now it's a big subdivision with nicely maintained lawns and shrubbery, houses that are all the exact same color and shape, tiny little boxes. Ah, milkweed. Wow, these milkweed pods are really long. These are pretty good. Those are actually a good edible. The unopened flowers of the common milkweed. Oh, right on the other side of the trail we got Dogbane, which is a look-alike to common milkweed. Oh, raspberries are forming. Little green unripe black raspberries all over this bush. If you ever want to know the difference between a raspberry or a blackberry, the raspberries have this white film on the stem that you can rub off with your finger, and you can actually see it on your finger when you rub it off. I don't know if you can see that, but that's how you tell a raspberry from a blackberry, other than the fruit and other things. I mean, that's the easiest way to tell a raspberry from a blackberry at any time of year, because they'll almost always have that white film on them.